Pokémon Infinite Fusion has added even more new Pokémon to the game, which means even more new fusions that I wanted to check out. I'm talking Pokémon like Cresselia, Lycanroc, even Ultra Necrozma, which are gonna make some insane fusions, so let's dive on in. Starting out our game, we named our rival the Dawn, for no other reason than I was talking to Dawn in a call when I started this playthrough. It was then time to look at our starters, and I have to say, one of these things is not quite like the others. So say hello to Tusk, our first Pokemon, who somehow managed to defeat the Dawn and his Venutoise, which is a crazy Pokemon to start with. Wait, is Tusk a Dawn fan or a great Tusk? With the Dawn on the run, it was finally time to spin the wheel to see who our first new Pokemon's gonna be. This is how we're gonna determine which of the new Pokemon we add to the team. For our first one, we're gonna get Sandygast, which I'm alright with. I love a cute little sandcastle, and look at how cute this guy is. Yeah, so that's a real thing they do. Anyways, we fused the boys together to make an adorable sand elephant, which was great, but reversed. I mean, come on guys, Dongast? This dude's a keeper. We also got Glalie as our second addition to the team, so we added a Snorunt for now and fused him with a Chimchar. Just look at him, he's so happy. And with that, we set off retrieving a package for Professor Oak, catching some new Pokemon to fuse with later, and fought off some trainers, running into a Shedinja fusion. Now the reason this is bad is there is a 50-50 chance that that fusion has Wonder Guard, and with some of the weird type combinations, that can become quite an issue. For instance, Vigoroth is a normal type that has one weakness: fighting. But mix it with Shedinja, now it can either be a bug normal type with 3 weaknesses, flying, rock, or fire, which are completely different, or a normal ghost type, which changes the single weakness altogether to dark type. So if you don't have the right type of attack to hit the Pokemon with Wonder Guard, you're kind of out of luck. Fortunately for us,
Autobots.
speaking of problems, today's video sponsor Fume has the goal of helping people with a huge problem that many people face. So stick around for a minute if you can, as it really means a lot to me. Let's face it, we all have bad habits, and cold turkey, it might be delicious on a sandwich, but it is not delicious on the brain. Luckily, Fume is an award-winning flavored air device that gives you something to reach for, replacing the bad habit with a little bit of good. Fume uses no chemicals and no batteries, it's just naturally flavored air. Plus, they have a ton of fun and interesting flavors. I mean, orange vanilla, we love a good creamsicle. Or how about maple pepper and raspberry lemon? This has definitely been my favorite so far. It also looks fantastic and feels great in your hands. It has a good amount of heft, and just look at this bad boy. I upgraded to the Solano because I'm more of a dark shaft kind of guy. The mouthpiece is this epic onyx blacks, and the wood is a nice dark walnut. Plus, just listen to when you adjust the airflow. Oh yeah, I could fidget with this for a while. Fume has served over 300,000 customers, and you can be the next success story. For a limited time, use my code QJCosmic to get your free topper. It's the perfect accessory for your Fume device. Slip it onto the mouthpiece for a softer, warmer feel. It's chewable for those who love to fidget, and it's reusable. Head to tryfume.com, that's TRYFUM.com, and use code QJCosmic or scan the QR code on screen to get your free Fume topper when you order the Journey Pack today. Definitely check them out, guys. I love what Fume's doing to help people take back control of their destructive habits, so don't wait. And it helps out the channel. And thanks again, Fume, for sponsoring this video. After finally taking out the Shedinja fusion, the Dawn rolled up once again looking for a fight. And after packing up his double turtle squad, we made our way to the first gym. But first, we needed to spin the wheel. Now look, I know some of you are probably wondering what determines if I get to spin the wheel and when I get a new Pokemon, and there's a lot of points where I could add new Pokemon to the team. Just look at how many different routes and areas there are in just the Kanto region. But there's only 15 Pokemon on this wheel, so getting one for every new route and area wouldn't work, and saving them for each gym leader is kind of boring. You're watching the video to see cool fusions, like Mareanie and Bagon. Okay, maybe not them, but our options are a little limited right now, so bear with me. Mareep's arm tentacles made me a little bit uncomfortable, so this is what we stuck with for now. We also got a Whirlipede from this random male guy, which just happened to be on our wheel, so I took it as fate, added it to our team, and combined him with an Espeon we found in the woods, which, when reversed, was amazing. Just look at this thing. If the poison type evolution doesn't look like this, then I don't want it. With our slightly more robust team, we headed through the forest to Fuchsia City, where we could finally take on Brock and win our first gym badge and make our mother proud. Though my youthful confidence was immediately halted when I saw the type that Brock was randomized into, Dragon. I mean, yes, it is an incredibly busted type, but Dragon Rage Claws does exist, so honestly, I guess I would rather it be early on than a later gym. After a few Dragon Rage losses, we finally had a strategy put together. Snowchar led in against their first Pokemon, taking it out easily with Ice Shard, which just left Hexcross. Whirlyon then easily handled it with Confusion, winning 1 gym badge, leaving 7 to go, and more fusions. For the next wheel spin, we got Stuffle, meaning our team is just a bunch of cuddly dudes. Say hello to Moffle. Not this one, this guy. Look at his smile. At this point in the run, we had to make our way through Mount Moon, where Giovanni and his goons were messing around. So we battled a bunch of cool fusions, caught more Pokemon, and Snowchar got himself a sick new coat. After interrupting Giovanni's experiment, we had finally arrived at Vermilion City and headed straight off to face against Misty and her normal type Pokemon. Bygone 2 went down quickly to Snowferno's Mach Punches, and Lotvion, I mean, what did you expect? Bland, boring, normal type Eevee, or dark, emo, brooding evolution? With 2 badges in hand, it was time to spin the wheel again. Okay, I'll take it. I mean, Legendary on the team is a little busted, but so are fusions. Seadra and Sandygast looked kinda... And Slowking was just a happy pail-wearing sandy dude. In the end, I decided to go with Ninetales, adding the Sandy Fox to our squad. Marini and Seadra made me a little bit uncomfy, and the reverse looked like it could be a new Sonic character. But when I tell you the next fusion was peak, Marini and Machoke? Come on, like why does this go so hard? In fact, you'll see quite a few insane Machoke fusions throughout this video, so don't go anywhere. And if you made it this far, comment Machoke is the GOAT or something similar down in the comments to confuse anyone who didn't watch this far. We almost added this rocky elephant to the team, but then we found this rotund king, and I had to take him instead. Imagine this guy launching these pillar arms at you. With that, our new team was created, and the Dawn had returned. Unfortunately for him, we now had a team of absolute powerhouses, and he did not. The trainers on the bridge had some fun fusions like Jirachi, Oricorio, and the classic Doug Champ, which is canonically what's under Doug Trio, by the way. They also had Piplet. You know, this right here is why I love fusions so much. Just look at how cute he is. I dare you to find something as cute, as deserving as love, anything more precious, deserving protection than this guy. You won't, but you can comment if you do. Anyways. We eventually made it to Bill's house and helped him reverse his experiment, but it always has me thinking, why Rhydon? Why not like Machamp or... I don't know, Lopunny? Regardless, we had our SSN ticket in hand, so we made our way south and fought through more insane fusions and arrived at Vermilion City. The Pokemon we were able to catch here were insane. I'm talking Pokemon like Regigigas and Fletchling. Equally insane Pokemon. After catching a few new Pokemon for later, we blasted through the SSN and the sailors, coming once again face to face with the man himself. Machoke low-kicked the Spear Isle, and Sandytails took down not one but 2 Mawile fusions before Whirlyon switched in to finish off his starter once again. With the Dawn defeated once again and Lieutenant Surge and his Ghost-type Pokemon in our sights, we began digging through the trash until the staircase descended, allowing us to begin our battle. I'd love to say that this battle was a challenge, but we really aren't here for the difficulty. We're here for the awesome Pokemon fusions. So let's get back to making more fusions. Okay, so everyone has that one Pokemon that they just cannot stand whatsoever, but there's someone out there that likes it. For some people, it's Mr. Mime. Other people it's Cinchino. I can even see reasons for people liking Alola Mola. But Bruxish? Now, I'm not talking it's shiny, I'm just talking Bruxish. This Pokemon. Why does it look like that? Who designed it? Why do you exist? But it's on the wheel. It's a new Pokemon, so I guess I will use it. But sparingly. Regigigas wasn't an awful fusion, but Roserade, it kinda was. Though the reverse wasn't as bad, and I almost kept it until I tried Armaldo. Now a good fusion uses a Pokemon's strength, and this Pokemon, this felt just right. If I have to be uncomfortable using it, you get to be uncomfortable watching me use it. And speaking of uncomfortable, I fought through plenty of weird fusions as we pressed on, including Politoed, Natu with toes, and this nasty Silgross. After making it out of the cave, we headed to the Pokemon Tower and fought the Don once again, and though he managed to find his own edgy evolution, he stood no chance, leaving us the victor as always. We then watched Team Rocket carry Mr. Fuji up the tower as they asked about a Master Ball that he had designed, but the ghosts blocked our path, so we decided to head on with our quest for badges. On the way, Whirleon ended up evolving into Scoleon, which ended up not being quite as cool as its previous form, but we'd finally made it to Celadon City. We were well on our way to request help from the lovely gym leader Erika to save Mr. Fuji, but we came across the Don battling some rocket grunts near the sewers. Then Erika arrived and told us that the evil group had a base under the city, and she finally decided to do something about it with our help. We headed on in and had absolutely no trouble getting to Giovanni because Erika had a Kyogre Darkrai fusion. Yeah, so I don't know what she expects from us at this point. If she lost using that thing, then what is this gonna do? Luckily, the answer was right in front of us the whole time. Giovanni's Metal Crab went down easily, and Sandytail survived an explosion from Smeargle. Slowrock then came in against his final Pokemon, getting it low enough for our Ice Monkey to finish it off with Ice Shard. Somehow our curse upon this world that we had created managed to be useful in chasing off the evil leader, and with the Silph Scope in hand, it was time to get our 4th badge. Erika's gym doesn't tell us the type beforehand, so we had to figure it out by battling the gym trainers. Belcute and Metadilly made me think it was a steel type, and I was right. This fight took a couple of tries, as Erika's Defiant and Empoleon Scizor fusion caused a lot of issues, but eventually we managed to find our team's rhythm, sending out Sandytails first against her Molass. After using Sand Tomb to prevent it from switching out, we slowed it down with Bulldoze until it fainted to chip damage. A Sableye Lucario fusion then came in and knocked out our Sandy Fox after taking massive damage from Sand Tomb. Slowrock finished it off and began chipping down her final Pokemon until fainting, leaving our fate once again in the claws of the ugly duckling of the crew. Luckily, it resisted anything thrown at us and eventually landed an Aquatail, winning the fight and our 4th gym badge. Now being halfway there, we had our next spin and it landed on... yeah. Ultra Necrozma. I mean, guys, we're here for the fusion, so let's just enjoy these. Roserade and Necrozma made some cool eternal flowers, and Stuffle finally evolved, becoming very pink. Flaffy then evolved and made the fusion a dapper gentleman once again. The two Regis fused together weren't all that much to look at, but the alternate sprites had some big Ponteglyph kind of looking cubes. Maybe a One Piece reference? Roserade and Regirock was thick, but not nearly as cool looking as the reversed and alternate sprite that we quickly added to the team. Necrozma and Torterra became a portal into ultra space, and Litwick made an Eldritch Ghost Dragon that we just couldn't pass up. Tox King almost made the cut, but Tox Queen was just a little more frightening, so we put her on the team as well. Glalie was the final piece to the puzzle for this team, fusing with a fully evolved Infernape to create an even cooler Ice Monkey. Back at the Pokemon Tower, we managed to race up to the top with the Silph Scope, and we faced off against the final Pokemon waiting for us. This Pokemon's always quite a bit higher leveled than us, even at the level cap at this point, so I was grateful to have Toxic on Tox Queen, which allowed us to chip it down and save Mr. Fuji, or at least it would have if he actually needed any help. Instead, he gave us a flute and sent us on our way. Fuchsia City was the next stop, and the Ice Gym leader Koga stood between us and badge number 5. Our frozen Wukong ironically roasted his Luxio, and our Ghostly Necrozma needed to switch in to bring down the Glalie fusion. Now you might notice that Litzma looks a little bit different, and that's because after every battle, Ultra Necrozma becomes less Ultra and goes back to its normal form for some reason, and I have to unfuse the Pokemon and refuse it back together to get it back to its Ultra form. I have no idea why, and sometimes I forget, so just ignore it when it happens occasionally, or I guess call me out in the comments. I don't care. Toxqueen managed to get in several full paras on the Stantler Delibird until it was knocked out, and Koga's final, very angry looking Pokemon eventually fainted to Toxic, winning the battle flawlessly. As always, that meant it was time for more fusions, this time adding Aurorus to the squad. The first fusion I did with it was Talonflame, which when reversed became this incredible Frostbird, which I love so much that we added them to the team immediately and pressed on to Saffron City. The grunt guarding the way didn't know what hit him as our team of monsters destroyed this poor person's Pokemon, gaining us access to the city in Silph Co, where we wasted no time taking out grunt after grunt until we had finally reached the top. But before heading on to take Giovanni, I tried out some new Necrozma fusions like Chandelure. The fusion was cool looking the first way, but come on, who can say no to a ghostly flame dragon? With our new addition to the team, we charged into battle, and the Dawn stopped us just outside the office where Giovanni was hiding. His Cresselia Igglybuff fusion caused us a lot more issues than I'd like to admit, but Toxqueen managed to finish it off, then proceeded to sweep just about every one of his other Pokemon, leaving just the starter to go down flinching to our Frosty and Fernape's fangs. Having been satisfied with our battle, the Dawn teamed up with us just this once to face off against Giovanni, and boy, was it needed. If someone led a Pokemon battle with 2 round boys like these guys, you would probably think to yourself, this is gonna be an easy battle, and you'd be wrong. And now you're probably thinking to yourself, well, it's obviously the Regigigas fusion that's the issue. Well, you'd be wrong again, because it was this guy. Whalchew was just knocking Pokemon out left and right with Water Spout, and then it would heal. Finally, Toxqueen managed to finish it off, and the rest of his team was easy. Just look at these dudes. It's always the unassuming ones that are causing problems. So I just looked up that fusion, and wasn't even a Wailord fusion. It was Wailmer and Chinchou, which is crazy. Anyways, Giovanni was defeated and the gym finally reopened, so we dove right in. Sabrina's fighting types didn't see us coming. Our Necrozma and their Kyurem Blaziken traded blows until Sabrina finally healed and Galanape switched in to use Ice Fang, finishing it off. It was then a bird-on-bird fight, and obviously, ours came on top, outspeeding with a massive acrobatics. From there on, it became a button smash simulator as Oriflame took down her remaining Pokemon one after another, giving us our 6th gym badge and more fusions. This time adding Rockruff, or Midnight Lycanroc. Espeon and Necrozma really tried to look cool, but I couldn't get past the scrawny little arms, and Pikachu just kinda looked like Ultra Necrozma. That was until you reversed it, which was pretty cool when you ignored the massive black pits for eyes that stared deeper into your soul than anyone has ever gotten to know you before, and you begin to start to ask yourself whether or not that you know who you really were, and I don't know what I'm really saying anymore, but you should already have been fated by now. Necrozma and Aegislash was alright, but I knew it could be better, and the reverse was everything that I wanted and more. I will always be the kid that loves knights with armor and big swords. It's just epic, just like Lycanroc and Aegislash. Lycanroc honestly became a punk rock fusion several times with ones like Scolipede or even Machoke. This one even had some crazy alternate sprites, but I ended up sticking with Lycanroc and Chandelure because, well, look at it. It's awesome. What more do you want? Palossand made several different themed sandcastles just as you'd expect, as well as turning Aegislash into a sand shovel and bucket. For some reason, Machoke turned into this weird Zen garden, but when you reversed it, it was another incredible fusion, becoming a buff Sandman, which I promptly added to the team as we made our way to Blaine and our 7th badge. Once we made it to the island, we had overheard some thugs stealing a boat, but decided that that could wait as we started to taste the next badge. We instead headed in to find Blaine in the mansion, sending him back to prepare for our challenge, and several questions later, it was time to take down the old man's rock Pokemon. And take them down we did. Palachoke bulked up before taking down his first 3 Pokemon, including a Kyogre fusion, before fainting to Agperior. We then sent out our Necrozma, who had changed forms again, but still had no problems winning the battle, and our 7th gym badge, meaning there was just one more. And unfortunately, that meant we needed to put a stop to Team Rocket and their plans. We quickly surfed the rapids, leading to an island where Giovanni and his crew were conducting the final phase of their triple fusion experiments, and they succeeded. By bringing together the 3 legendary birds, Giovanni had made Zap Molkuno, a 3-headed monstrosity that would be incredibly tough to take down. They've got 3 health bars, 1 for each head. They each get to attack every turn, still using their own moves, and they have a Berry to weaken the first rock-type move used on them. Plus, they're all legendaries. I mean, we've got a few legendaries of our own, so I guess it might be fair, but we'll have to see. Our powered down Necrozma fusion led the battle using Power Gem to weaken what I would argue is the strongest of the 3, Articuno. Luckily for us, one of the heads used Reflect, wasting their turn, allowing for the second Power Gem to take out the first head before fainting. Chandel Rock then came in and used Stone Edge on Moltres to weaken it as well, and with Zapdos setting up Tailwind, I thought it was over. But for some reason, they both chose not to attack, which gave us the chance to finish off Moltres, leaving just Zapdos as the final head. Of course, it wasn't going to go down easily, and managed to knock out our Oroflame and Regiraid. We then sent in Toxqueen and managed to use Toxic, wasting Giovanni's turns with heals, and managed to take it down, defeating the 3-headed beast. And with that, Team Rocket was finished, and Giovanni, unable to comprehend how his plan had fallen apart, left without another word. Team Rocket fled, leaving behind the tools needed to go find and catch the other legendary birds, so we did just that before heading to face the final gym leader. This would be our final fight with Giovanni, and somehow it's all come around full circle, as he was using Dragon-type Pokemon. We end the gym challenge where it all started. Giovanni led with a Magmortar fusion, and we used King Shield to see what it wanted to do before switching into our Flashfire Chandelorock. He quickly switched into a little Dragon Tick, who after burning through all of the leader's heals went down easily. His next Pokemon, Gardactyl, went for a dig, so we switched into our Necrozma, and a few Power Gems later, the Landshark fell as well. We repeated the beginning switches once again, but missed a Stone Edge before Giovanni switched into Respeed. They then managed to take out our Glass Wolf, and Regiraid took an unreasonable amount of damage coming in, but Bulldoze slowed down the Dragon Caterpillar enough to finish it off, leaving just the Magmortar fusion and one more. Regiraid traded blows with the Flaming Dragon, taking it down with it, leaving just Beelgon, their last Pokemon, who stood little chance to Oroflame in its Freeze Dry, which meant we had done it. We had won all 8 gym badges with all new Pokemon fusions. All that was left was the Elite Four, which meant a lot more fusions, and I added Cresselia to the roster. While I show off some of the cool fusions that I found with these Pokemon, I wanted to just take a second and thank you guys for watching the video. It really means a lot to read all the comments and know that I'm making something that you guys enjoy. Make sure to comment your favorite fusion from the run and let me know which Pokemon you hope gets added to the game, and I hope that I can continue making content that you enjoy. Anyways, one of my favorite Cresselia fusions was this Eevee that looked like Avatar: The Last Airbender, as well as Machoke, but not this one, these ones. I'm telling you, Machoke goes way too hard. Arcanine is always a classic fusion, and Zekrom fused with Ultra Necrozma was insane. Dragonite became an enlightened being, and Volcarona was a decent fusion, but immediately became 10 times cooler when reversed. Articuno and Aurorus, as well as Moltres, looked incredible. Just look at these birds. And of course, we had Machoke as always with the unbeatable design, or at least I thought so until I found this Meganium fusion. Scolipede fused with Regigigas became a behemoth on rollerblades, and the Sand T-Rex looked pretty rad and ready to throw down. So this was the team we ended up with: Cresselia Reshiram, Volcarona Necrozma, Aurorus Meganium, Lucario Toxapex, Regigigas Scolipede, and Palossand Tyrantrum. If you've somehow watched this far into the video, you've officially made it into the Cosmic Crew, so drop a nickname down for your favorite of the final team members, and let's finish the Elite Four. Lorelei's electric-type Pokemon stood no chance against our barrage of flamethrowers and earthquakes that we sent her way. Her only Pokemon that caused problems was Smearton due to the paralysis, but we managed to defeat her easily, leading us into Bruno's rock types. His first Pokemon looked incredible and vaguely familiar, but our Necrozma fusion didn't hesitate to Quiver Dance and Fiery Dance, setting up perfectly for Photon Geysers to clear the rest of his Pokemon, leaving just Probowrath left to fall to an earthquake. Agatha's Poison-type Pokemon were no issue for Soligigas, who just did circles around this old woman's team, up until a Pyukumuku fusion took him out with Innards out at the last second, but she'd been defeated with no issues, so we moved on. The finally 4-member Lance was using normal-type Pokemon, and Auronium whittled away his first 2 Pokemon, taking him out before switching into Toxcario as it faced an Arceus fusion. And Earth Power quickly had us switching into our Tyrantrum fusion, who took the hits and returned it with its own earthquakes. Cressram took out the Munchlax, and Lance's final Pokemon, a loading screen, couldn't keep us waiting any longer as we moved into our final battle against the Dawn. It's all led to this very moment. The new Pokemon, all the incredible fusions we found along the way, it all rested on this, the final battle. The Dawn led with a Spiritomb fusion, but unlike Cynthia's, his went down easily to Toxcario. The favor was quickly returned though, as Type King outsped, knocking us out with Flamethrower. Truant then stopped him from attacking, and after burning a heal, Dawn switched into Parakeet, who is not prepared for the massive head smash coming its way. Things seemed to be going smoothly when a Palkia fusion hit the field and knocked out our Sandy Dino with Spatial Rend. I thought the answer would be Volcazma, but after heal stalling our Photon Geysers, we just couldn't do enough damage to knock it out. The possibility of losing began to edge closer and closer to reality. Cressram suddenly managed to knock it out with Exasentry, and Type King came back in, missed, and fell as well. His second to last Pokemon was a Stunfisk Butterfree that looked like a painting, and all I saw when I looked between the frame were the fusions that got us here. A Fusion Flare lit the way as his final Pokemon, fighting valiantly, fell as well, leading us to victory. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button to let me know, and check out these other awesome fan games that I've played. Thank you again to Fume for sponsoring this video, and until next time, bye-bye!